The story happened when I was 35 years old. At that time, I was still a counselor. The hospital arranged for me and another colleague to go for an intensive course. It was mainly an intensive course for counselors. In this course, one of the components was that each participant had to personally experience being hypnotized. My first session went well and I was able to relax well. My colleague and I had dinner and got ready to go back to the hotel. Not long after we got back to the hotel, I started to feel tightness in my chest. This feeling came and went quickly. I had had similar pain many times before, so I didn't pay much attention to it. The next morning, I still felt a little uncomfortable, but persevered through the day's sessions. While I was in the initial relaxation phase, the pain in my chest became worse and I felt like something was pressing on my chest. This pain was unbearable. I told my teacher about the situation and my pain rapidly increased. I was sure I was going to die. In that moment, I heard a loud sound, like thunder. Suddenly, I left my body. The pain disappeared instantly. I found myself away from my flesh, on its upper right side. It all happened very quickly. I don't remember if I passed through a tunnel. I found myself in a gentle silence with a bright light ahead of me. I can't describe the scene in detail because I can't find the right words. After each description, I found myself saying in my mind, "No, it wasn't exactly like that." That light was full of love and acceptance. I had an urge to give myself up and merge into the light. I wanted to become one with that light. I wanted to stay in that place of warmth forever. Before this experience, I had gone through a very painful divorce. I tried everything I could to save my marriage, but I failed. Many nights, I cried. I prayed to God to show me how to save my marriage. I also have 2 sons, 10 and 5 years old. I don't want them to grow up in this environment. I love them more than anything on earth. My husband told me, either I leave or he takes the kids and leaves me. I felt it was best for the children for me to leave so they could remain at home. Their lives would not change much. My oldest son is old enough to understand the situation. He is a wonderful son in every way. However, my youngest son obviously did not understand what was happening. He was only 5 years old. He came into the bedroom as I was packing to leave. He was such a little angel that he didn't cry in front of anyone else. He gently tugged on my shirt sleeve and said in a shaky little voice, "Mommy, I don't want you to leave, will you come back?" He choked back his tears. There are no words to express the sadness I felt at that moment. I gathered my 2 sons into my arms and, while sobbing, told them, "I feel so sorry. I have been living with this grief for so many years." Now back to the story. As I stood in front of the light began to communicate with me. I didn't hear the voice, but I could feel it. The voice said, "Give me your grief." The words were full of love and tenderness, and I heard them very clearly. In order for you to understand my story, I need to explain that when I was a little girl, my mother abused me verbally and physically. The verbal abuse made me feel completely worthless, and the physical abuse was painful. I wanted my mother to be proud of me, but that was not the case. The worst part of the abuse was that feeling of helplessness. That's when the light once again said softly, "You can hang in there," and everything will be okay." Then 2 long rays of light appeared, stroked my head and cheeks, and then embraced me. These 2 rays of light embraced me again and again. This is the most intense emotional experience I have ever had. Whenever I think about it, I want to shed tears. During this experience, I never stopped breathing. Later tests showed that I was not having a heart attack. The pain in my chest slowly disappeared, and I felt much more relaxed throughout. After that, there was no more pain. When the other students saw the look on my face, she did not call an ambulance. She thought I was going through some kind of spiritual experience. She told me later that I was lying on the floor with my face glowing and tears streaming down my face. Although it sounds a little weird, that's what happened. This experience completely changed my life. A few days later, I came home and pondered the event. I asked myself, I want to know what it all means and what I should do now. As soon as the words left my mouth, I heard the same voice I had heard a few days earlier, and it just said, "Grow up." There was a slight pause, and then it repeated, "Grow." It said it louder than before, and then repeated it again. The last time was in a commanding tone, "Grow." From that day on, I changed a lot. I tried to accept others as they are, not as I think they should be. I have absolutely no fear of death. I don't care about material things. When I am able, I will help more people.